Good afternoon. We're here with Lindsay West from Garthwest. How are you doing, Lindsay?
I'm really good. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today and agreeing to do the interview. Very excited to hear what your experiences are. So if we kick things off, as we always do, if you'd like to give us a little bit of introduction as to who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for, please.
Yeah, well, my primary thing is I'm Lindsay West. I'm joint managing director of Garthwest Packaging and Point of Sale in Hull. It's a second generation family business set up by my father just under 60 years ago, funnily enough. I've been working here for just over 30 years and I've been joint managing director with one of my brothers for about the past 25 years.
Brilliant. Long time in business there. That's good to hear. So we ask each person that we interview about COVID and the impact on their business. What was the biggest impact for you going over the last sort of 2 or 3 years with that, really?
Well, I think there are quite a few actually. I mean, we're in manufacturing, so particularly in packaging. So we were seen as, I can't remember the terminology now, whether it's critical workers or whatever. So we continued maintaining an operable factory throughout the whole period, so we never actually closed. So I guess at the beginning of it, when all the media was coming out about COVID and was obviously quite concerning. I think a lot of us were quite worried at that point about how bad it was going to be. So it's quite challenging then, and obviously for manufacturing that we were operating very much with no guidance. I mean, I think that's the key thing about maybe manufacturing is we learn how to pivot quickly. So we just got together, we created a huge, I think it was a 50-page booklet on how to manage through the COVID period. And we just carried on with it, you know. So I guess, unlike many people, I was in the fortunate position that I was able to go to work every day, and because obviously, unlike people who are predominantly on computers, you can use up sticks and go home. I mean, you can't take, you know, £2 million machines and pop them into your front room and make cardboard boxes on them. So yeah, I think that was interesting. I mean, I think that the key thing at that point was, you know, we're from Yorkshire. I think the resilience of people, how rational people were, that while there was all this craziness going on in the world outside and so many opinions coming forward, just how sensible and intelligent everyone who works at Garthwest was, and we just got on and did it. I mean, subsequently, throughout the period of the pandemic, you know, we've been affected by many things, supply chain issues. At the Christmas of the first year, 2020, our lead times extended from order day 1 for delivery day 3 to day 5 to order day 1 delivery week 12. And then we had multiple back-to-back increases after that. So it's been a very, very interesting time. It's been quite disruptive, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we've got a great team here, and I think with every new thing that's been thrown our way, we just sat down together and discussed it and said, what's the best way forward, and then just got on and done it, and it looks like we've got more things right than wrong.
Great. I just listening to you there, that word resilience and being able to pivot and being sort of agile in your response definitely came across there. So that's fantastic to hear. Just deal with what's in front of you and do it the best you can. So were there any sort of actions that you had to take that stuck with the business? So 1 or 2 things where we ask a lot of people, and what comes out of it is they've made improvements that have kind of stayed with the business because of that situation. Was there anything like that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, as I see business, so I'm also involved in I'm a founder of a technology business as well called Visor that's in Metaverse. But with both of them, they are, you know, business is about people. You know, life is about people. Everything we do is about people. And one of the things that we probably strengthened over the period of COVID, although we had good foundations at both of the companies beforehand, was the communication and understanding, and, you know, listening to people, and maybe some of the traditionally quieter voices came out to the forefront with their thoughts on what was going on, and so I guess that the ability just to take something in when you've got a good team of people that listens to each other. You know, we are a family business. So I suppose the dynamic of that might be a little bit different to a very large structured business. You know, the people who work for us all have day-to-day access to the owners of the business. So you know, we could have really proper grown up, not always in agreement with each other, but came out with solutions at the end of the day. So I suppose, you know, the strengths that we will come out of it is always remembering that it's always about the people. You don't have the people, you don't listen to the people, if you don't have a good understanding about what everyone is doing and what each other's challenges are, to the extent that you have to. I mean, obviously everyone has to be specialist in their own areas of their business. Then, you know, you won't be running as well as you could be.
Sure. Thank you for that. That's a good share on that. So in terms of where we're at now and what you see the future looking like, and also the main challenges possibly involved with that, how does that look for you?
Well, I think, you know, probably after the last 3 years, and being in manufacturing as well, you know, so this has been a generational thing, as for some reason we have in our country neglected manufacturing. It's gone very far down our own sort of economic food chain in terms of the importance of it. I mean, probably one of the things there is that I think people have actually realised that people who make stuff are quite important. It always surprises me that we sort of laud China in its economy, and it's built its economy on manufacturing. So I think, you know, that element of it is quite important. Alongside that, I think that we're going to see a lot of challenges over net zero. I'm not making any reference as to global warming or anything like this, you know.
Yeah,
that's all as it is. But I think the energy issues we're seeing at the moment, it's a little bit like, I was thinking the other day, it's a little bit like giving everyone smartphones and saying, run your life on this smartphone, and then telling them, oh, by the way, in 6 months' time, you've got to go back to a payphone in the centre of the village, but do all the stuff that you were doing on a smartphone. And we don't know how you're going to do it, but you're doing it. And I think the transition to net zero is like that. I think we can all see what we're doing. I think we can all see the reasons for it. But, you know, suddenly just saying, I don't really know how we're going to get there, but this is where we need to be. And there isn't really any particular sort of really coherent plan as to what energy is going to replace the energy that we're using at the moment, and the same affordability. And I think the repercussions of that have been seen, you know, most tragically in our country for the people who can least afford it in terms of what's happening right now. So I guess that, you know, business and particularly manufacturing is a consumer of energy. If you're making anything, even if it's digitally, you are consuming energy. It would be quite nice to feel that the people who were in charge of us maybe seem to have a little bit more of a coherent plan. But if that's not the case, I guess we have to work with what we have, and so we will.
I think, yeah, a lot of reliance is placed on businesses to work it out themselves. And while there is a lot of resilience and clever thinking that goes on in businesses, there's a lot of pressure there that is just kind of left on your shoulders, so to speak. So that
it's sort of pressure that we can't do anything about. You know, at Garthwest, we've already got all the solar panels. We did this 4 or 5 years ago. We've got electric cars. We've got you know, LED lighting. At the moment, we're looking at a program putting sensors right across the equipment to make sure that we're maximizing energy. So it's not as if we aren't doing anything, but we can't actually do anything about the source of energy that comes into the business. That's the problem. So you know, that's a much bigger issue that has to be tackled at a governmental level. You know.
Sure, it's a good point. It's a fair point made. Thank you for that. So moving on to yourself then as a business owner, and asking you about your experiences, and if we could pick out, it's a big question, but one thing in terms of your biggest lesson or learning that you've had over the years that you've been in business, what would that be, if you can pick one?
I guess, oh gosh, I suppose.
If you want to share, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, you know, the whole thing about that is it has to be coloured when you're in business and responsible for, you know, people's livelihoods and everything, that you can't be too you can't be too reckless sometimes. But I mean, I guess the one bit of advice that I suppose that my father gave me that I've always lived by, you know, it's always better to try and not succeed than not to try at all. And because even if you don't particularly succeed in a particular thing that you're trying to do, I mean, I've done many things in the past. I've written a book, I've written a play, I've set up a brand, I've done lots, and you know, with mixed success, I have to say. But each time that you do something like that, you learn, and you learn the hard way, and you learn a particularly hard way if you don't succeed at it. But what you do learn is how to do it better next time. If not that, how you apply what you've learned in that instance onto something else. Sure. So I would always say never, even though I'm 55, never feel that because you've been doing something for a long period of time in a certain age that you're an expert at it. You should always be ready to learn and change and look at what's coming up and listen to other people. So I guess that would be my best advice. But on the other side of it, as I said, just saying don't be too reckless. You don't want to blow the whole business on something crazy. But you know, if you feel that there's something that you're passionate about, and want to draw up your correct business plans and get the right people behind you, you're better giving it a go than not giving it a go and regretting it later.
Good share. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So in terms of you doing what you do and using inspiration, is there anything in terms of inspiration that you use, such as friends, family, your work colleagues, the customers, what you use for inspiration, I suppose, on a day-to-day basis, or perhaps even reading recommendations, podcasts, videos, anything like that?
Well, I guess, you know, just on the first level, I'm very, very blessed to have a very strong family. So I have that. This is a family business. You know, my wife is fantastic. She's my life partner, as well as the mother of my children, everything else. She's a great sounding board. And I view Garthwest as the extended company, obviously not my blood relatives who work within it, as our work family. So never be afraid to take advice and guidance from people wherever you can get it at the end of the day. And, you know, you can decide not to take their advice if you don't want to, but at the end of the day, that you should always listen to people and listen to what they've got to say. In terms of just the generalities of reading, I mean, I've always been a very big across the board in different genres and types person to read it. I do. My original vocation in life was going to be a clinical psychologist. So, I mean, I guess I do have an interest in some things, but it does also make you quite skeptical when you read some other things as well. I know that often it's hard for us to see the bleeding obvious, if you want to call it that, but then to read 300 pages of somebody telling you what the bleeding obvious is as well is, I think most of us get the picture in about 10. So, but I would just say to anyone, just make your life interesting. You know, work is a really important part of your life. Enjoy it, and make sure that you enjoy your life outside of work as well, because we're only here once, you know, and it's not a rehearsal.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. And then lastly, in terms of any latest news around Garthwest that you'd like to share, any sort of latest projects you're up to, or even if it's just a case of finding your website and giving us the address there to mention anything worthy of note around that, feel free.
Well, thank you. Well, we're looking forward to a good year. We have a new website that's about to be launched in the next 6 weeks, and that's Garthwest, GARTHWEST.com. And we have a big in-house design and innovation department. And I think that very much what we're seeing in that, as we talk about pivoting and transitioning, what we're seeing very much that's coming up of the requirements from our customers now is people looking for intelligent packaging, intelligent solutions, packaging reduction. On the other side of it, you know, sort of multi-purposing packaging to make sure that it gives strong brand identity and is designed very well, whilst sitting within a cost matrix that they want to work out with in terms of the costing package. So I would say that it's the design and innovation from our award-winning design team that we built up over the past 30 years that we're really going to be, we're excited about bringing more to the forefront this year.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Lindsay, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. I wish you all the best for the next 60 years. It keeps on going. Yeah, all the best with it. And we'll check out your website and look forward to catching up again soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.